And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 143rd episode of HEX Therapy Live. I'm your host, Maddie Allen, and I've got a great show for you tonight. I'm going to kill the copy of my sound playing in the background. Perfect. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like and subscribe button. Go ahead and buy a Trezor from the link in the description below if you don't have enough. There's gonna be a great show tonight. Let me check my notes here. So silent depression, what is that compared to the Great Depression? We're gonna talk about that. Friend.tech being worse than a scam, technically speaking. What is the fatal flaw that I'm going to reveal tonight? Also, RH posting about legal stuff, why you never would have thought that it had anything to do with the SEC. And the fourth topic, prices are down across the Pulse and HEX ecosystem. What am I going to do about it? And what's my take? So welcome everybody to HEX Therapy Live. This is week 143 of uninterrupted episodes, and you're in the right place. So welcome to the show.
It's from Maddie Allen of HEX Therapy Live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being can do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie Allen's got that covered. He does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff, like, as his gig, because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like, he helps heal people.
We got Sami in the chat from an hour ago, pre-gaming the episode. Welcome. We got Willie B. Long. By the way, your friend Sami, he's the greatest content creator we have right now in crypto, so give him a follow for sure. D. Jen, Dougie, what's going on? Dan Best, good to see everybody. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the show. So what is the silent depression? This is basically a concept that I ran across today on financial Twitter. And it was somebody who's comparing how much people made for salary in the Great Depression compared to how much people make now. And then what the price of everything was back then compared to now. And how it's kind of a whole gaslighting situation that nobody's pointing out how low the purchasing power of the dollar is and how poor wage growth has been. All of these economic factors, they make a difference. It's part of the theft that occurs from the fiat system. And that's why a lot of us are here in crypto, even on days like today when the price is down. It's, to some people, they're not just in it for the price. The price is nice, but you're also in it for the self-sovereignty and the freedom to transact and all that goes along with that. Freedom of speech, freedom of movement. I mean, don't get me started. Don't get me started on all that. The silent depression. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the numbers. So there's this video that they made on Twitter, or Adam O of Denver Bitcoin, I guess he pirated this video of this woman on TikTok, got 158,000 views, not too shabby. From the video, he says in 1930, the average annual salary was $4,800. Inflation adjusted, that equals $85,000 per year. And that's not the median income these days. The median income is like somewhere around $55,000 per family. Week. Gas in 1930 was 10 cents per gallon. Inflation adjusted, that's $1.73. Has anybody gotten to fill up their tank for $1.73 per gallon lately? No, because of the theft that's been occurring with inflation, because of this silent depression. Nobody's calling it a depression, right? Because they have definitions for that. They say that it has to do with the price of stocks falling. or negative growth of more than 2 quarters, right, in GDP. That's the definition for a recession. And then a depression is more than that. Well, it's cool when the government like can make up imaginary numbers, like that's fine, but that's not really helping anybody out here. The average house in 1930 was $3,900. That's less than the 1-year salary, if you've been paying attention. Inflation adjusted, that's $70,000. Can anybody buy the average home today for $70,000? No. The median home price is $300,000 or $400,000, I believe. It's way up there. Oh, here we go. Yeah, $416,000 for a house, $3.55 for gas, $56K for salary. Hey, my just off the top of my head was pretty good, huh? So the middle class during the Great Depression had it better than the middle class of today. Keynesian economics and endless monetary expansion is the most widespread, destructive, and pervasive force on Earth today. What do you mean by monetary expansion? Money printing is quantitative easing, and quantitative easing is good. Crazy face, crazy face. More money was printed from 2009 to 2020 than was printed from 1776 to 2009. Look at those. Look at that graph of the monetary supply. Out of control. Wages fell by 40% from 1928 to 1930 because of inflation. The numbers here are from 1930 after the insane decline in average wage. In that respect, unemployment is factored into wages because a ballooned supply of labor means a lower price equilibrium among the many willing to work. Yeah, I would say the work statistics these days are totally bogus. Everybody had to move into a gig economy. And if you haven't been looking for work in the past few months, they don't count you. It's part of the unemployed people. If you're on social welfare, you might have a good reason to be on social welfare. You might not. But either way, you're not counted as unemployed. So the unemployment numbers being at record lows is just another way that the central banks can try to distort the big picture and try to confuse the topic of them printing more dollars. Like they want you to think that the increase in prices, which first of all, prices decrease, the cost to produce goods decreases with technology every year and with free market competition. So the idea that the money supply doubled and now the price of everything is going to eventually double very quickly in the next, basically from 2021 until probably 2024 or 2025, like that's insane. And it's due to money printing and it's theft. And that's what crypto is here to solve. But I guess crypto, it's not doing the best job of it at all. Basically right now, kind of being so volatile, but we'll get to that. That's a whole nother topic. So shout out for this tweet. I'll throw it in there. I'll throw it into the chat if you guys want to investigate more on that one. Hey, Ryan Lopez, good to see you there. Thank you for thanking me for my content. Right on. Academaciated, good to see you. Ida, my pleasure. Yeah, I could have made that a little bit bigger. Rick in the house, Rick Shattuck, somebody who's interviewed Richard Hart. What's up? With inflation, stock prices only appear to rise. That's exactly right. Text HEX 5555. Thank you, Maddie, for all you do for our community. You rock. Hey, appreciate it. Let's go. Did my internet cut out? And we're live, right? Let's do it. Okay, so that was cool. Don't worry, there's been lots going on. I've got a lot more content to talk about tonight. So, all right. So what is the silent depression? The silent depression is where the price of the actual goods and services that people need, it's much higher today than it was in the Great Depression. And this depression is not great because it's not being acknowledged. And so that's what makes it the silent depression. New term being, you heard it here first, or maybe you heard it on Twitter. Either way. Let's see. What else we got here? Friend.tech is worse than a scam, technically speaking. Now, I didn't think this right away. I talked on the Game Theory Gang on Tuesday kind of positively about friend.tech. I played around buying a bunch of Sami keys. I bought the top so nobody can accuse me of shilling or dumping or anything. But yeah. Then I discovered something very concerning about friend.tech. It runs on Coinbase's new Ethereum virtual machine, EVM compatible blockchain called Base. And at first I thought, hey, that's cool. Maybe it competes with Pulse Chain a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. But I've come to learn, at least this is my understanding, that the Base blockchain only has one validator. They don't have 33 validators like Binance. They don't have 1,000 validators or whatever it is like Ethereum. They don't even have 500 validators like in Pulse Chain. There's 500 addresses running 30,000 validators. They have one. And this is part of the problem when it comes to optimistic rollups, which is like, where you can compress a bunch of data and then you can plug in pieces of that data into the Ethereum blockchain. It's thought of as like a layer 2 scaling solution. Well, it turns out Pulse Chain is really the only layer 2 scaling solution that we have for Ethereum, even though it's adjacent scaling instead of, some silly theory that really doesn't work out. I mean, look, I was excited about optimistic rollups. I was excited about ZK sync, this and that, right? But the truth of the matter is that nobody ever figured out the technology to basically have the key to decompress all that data and translate it back between blockchains. And when you only have one validator or one node trying to run everything, that's not decentralized. That's censorship like city. It's not censorship resistant. It's welcoming censorship. And no wonder. I mean, I think Coinbase, I think that they got this one wrong. And I would love for somebody to prove me wrong, but what I'm hearing from technical expert, it's not very good. Now, what is the name of the let me see if I can get, so there's a massive, it seems like so why is this worse than a scam, right? It's because it feels like you're using real crypto. When you take your Ethereum from the Ethereum chain and you bridge it into friend.tech, you're bridging it into Coinbase. You're bridging it into the Base chain. And look, they don't even let you withdraw it for 7 days unless you want to use a bridge that they don't reference or support. That's really shady. I mean, holding somebody's assets for 7 days for security reasons, I can see that with timepays.me. We designed it that way. But in this case, Coinbase, I believe, is obfuscating their major limitation here, which is they only have one validator. They don't have a plan. Like there's no viable method that they've disclosed to say how they could get more people to run validators, because there's no economic incentive to do so. They didn't make a coin that they can then issue to validators. They don't have any plans to create a coin at all, which like at first that sounds cool. Oh, how DeFi, you're using the Ethereum chain. Good for you. But this is it's a trap. It's making people think that they're using crypto when they're really not, because what is crypto? Crypto is censorship resistant. And if you don't have censorship resistance and you don't have decentralization, then it doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter if you're FTX and you pay some of like the biggest celebrities in the world, like Tom Brady and his wife, Giselle. Like, you can pay anybody you want to be in a Super Bowl ad. You can pay, who's that guy that made like the comedy show, whatever. Like, you all saw the Super Bowl ad of FTX. And you know how that story ended. FTX was not real crypto. It was people sending their money and sending their crypto to a middleman. And that's wrong. That's against the point of crypto. Today, OKX delisted Pulse Chain. That's why some people think the price is down 5 or 10%. Well, I don't think you want to hold your crypto on a centralized exchange, because then what's the point of having crypto? The point of having crypto isn't just to gamble on the price. There has to be some underlying utility for something to not be a scam. And so maybe the most proliferated and the most incentivized type of crypto is actually not crypto at all. Maybe it's the FTX version. It's the OKX version of crypto. Not your keys, not your coins. And so, I think it really matters. I think it matters, that principle. And if we don't stand on a certain line of something, I don't know who will. Like, I think this community is the most engaged, like the most dedicated people who have followed the truth engine of crypto to be able to time lock, even when you're not happy, even when you're euphoric or depressed with the price, you still have your connection to the community. You still have your time lock. If you're in HEX, if you're in Time Pays Me, any of these things, and that makes a huge difference, I think. So we heard that it was the #1 Pulse Chain sacrificer or pool or whoever it was who started dumping today, and oddly enough, they sold. I should look. I only, I skimmed through all this stuff and then want to get it right. Okay, here it is. The #1 sacrifice address, like that's not part of the origin address or anything like that, sold 7.5 billion PLS yesterday. And then they bought back 6.5 billion Pulse and got 40K liquidity out of the two transactions. That's weird. That's weird. I mean, hey, thanks for buying back, I guess, but I don't know why you had to sell all at once. Maybe these are whale games. Who knows? I don't know. For me and for a lot of people, I think we like dollar cost averaging. We really wish that we had more dry powder at these prices. Look, I was buying along with you when the price went, 3x on launch. I was buying when the price fell 10% more, 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 right? And here we are, 9x, 10x below SAC rate, at least, on PulseX. And Pulse Chain, you're 10x below the all-time high of like the 3.5x you did right out of the gate. Now, I mean, technically you could say you're up infinity compared to like the starting price of 0. That's also one way to look at it. I'm just trying to reason about where volume happened on the chart, which like maybe some volume happened to 0, but that's for somebody else to figure out. So, I mean, these are great prices, and it's hard to buy when the price is down so much. There's a lot of FUD going out there. One thing that really was grinding my gears yesterday actually, was everybody assuming that Richard Hart, if he posted some legal musings, some like court cases that he was thinking about, it really bothered me. Maybe it didn't bother me. I thought it was really stupid that a bunch of people posted, "Oh, RH is about to dunk on the SEC." Like, and then the problem worked itself out pretty quickly here because Richard posted like 5 hours ago, like, "Oh, why was I posting about legal stuff? Obviously, it's because of the case against Coinbase, the case against Ripple, and I believe probably the case against Tornado Cash," although he didn't say that. But that's the whole point of his tweets, was talking about censorship. Now, we don't know if Richard has any knowledge that the SEC has put up any paperwork regarding him. He's never acknowledged it. So that's your first clue, that you might be misinterpreting all this, yesterday, when, I mean, all of the HEX broadcasters were posting, "Oh, SEC," or like, Richard's responding to his SEC case. Like, he doesn't know he has, like, how do you know that he knows that he has an SEC case? You don't, especially because he doesn't read newspapers or DMs or anything else. It's what it says in his Twitter profile. So stop making everything about the SEC. Pay attention to the actual news, because that's what Richard might be more likely to be responding to, is like, Tornado Cash had a really big ruling yesterday. I talked about this a little bit with the guys from the DeFi Down Under show. I hung out with Blue Bum and Day 43 OG last night. We did a great stream. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out right after this episode. I dropped a lot of alpha there, but I'll summarize some of it here. And I'm not going to be able to cover all of the stuff I said about time pays me. That's I started dropping some Easter eggs there. So definitely tune in. I'll link it at the end of this stream if you're watching on replay. But basically with Tornado Cash, they got accused of continuing to like support the infrastructure of their thing, even when North Korea was laundering $500 million of money through them. And apparently these guys got notified and they didn't change what they were doing. They didn't take their website down, whatever it was. They kept paying their web server bill or whatever, and they didn't institute KYC. Now, a lot of people could argue that it's unconstitutional for them to even be shut down, for them to be arrested. Apparently they were arrested yesterday by the FBI. They were sanctioned by OFAC, the Office of Foreign Asset Control, and they had been previously, I think, charged by the SEC or something like that. So a whole mess of legal battles having to do with privacy, the freedom to transact and the freedom to be private. And that seemed to be what Richard was tweeting about, was what he always does. This is not unusual for Richard to tweet about human rights. Whether he's reading the news or not, right? But the most disgusting argument that I saw in the Tornado Cash case is this argument that smart contracts are like vending machines, and that you're responsible. If you created a smart contract, you're responsible for all the ways people misuse it, or unintended consequences, or whatever, right? You're like held liable. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that a smart contract is like a vending machine. The internet is not a vending machine. Even though you can order things off Amazon, the internet is where computer code lives. And that's what the Supreme Court has said, according to what Richard tweeted. It's really clear that the Supreme Court really likes the freedom of speech, like the First Amendment and all the other amendments that were like really early on, like third, fourth, fifth, because they're so important to society, to a free and healthy society. So smart contracts are not vending machines. They are free speech, computer code. The government can try to change the definition of stuff, but I don't think the courts are going to like that very much. Coinbase can try to change the definition of what crypto is to something that only has one validator, is centralized and censorship prone. But that doesn't make it so. We are at a full level of 1984 Orwellian doublespeak horror show of words that don't make sense. And the thing we need to keep in mind is what the real definitions are of this kind of stuff. I got into it with ChatGPT yesterday because the definition of a Ponzi is not something that changes from day to day. The actual Ponzi case was taken from Charles Ponzi, and he was lying about making money off stamps in the international market. And he was taking people's money and then paying it back out to new investors. He was there was no underlying business activity. There was no underlying value. Well, with friend.tech, with crypto, with cars and stocks and collectibles and anything else, in order for a market to be formed, you do have to have new people being able to buy. Like if you don't have a willing buyer and a willing seller, you don't have a market. And so just being a market does not make something a Ponzi, even though a lot of markets these days are seem to be rigged and no good, have no link to their underlying value, like stocks. When's the last time you got to change the menu items at McDonald's because you owned the stock? Never. So at the end of the day, what defines something being a Ponzi is that there is no underlying value, or there is lies and fraud at the heart of what is supposed to be the tech, right? In Charles Ponzi's case, by the way, his company was named the Securities and Exchange Company. That was literally, so the SEC stole the name from Charles Ponzi. There's a free documentary here on YouTube. You can check it out after the show. Please don't leave in the middle of this lesson. So you got Charles Ponzi, you got him lying about the tech. There was no arbitrage of stamps internationally. I think the documentary said he may have tried it with $5 worth, or maybe he didn't even try it once. So he was telling people, oh yeah, I can get you 20% every 6 months, or I can double your money every 6 months. He kept changing it, and he would pay people out, and then they would turn around and keep handing them all the money back and even more. So it's clear that humans suck at understanding investing. Fine if you want to educate people. It's fine if you want to protect people. But language and reality are going to lose all meaning if we can't consistently define them. And so in HEX, what is the underlying value? Well, it's having a market where you can time lock, or you can hold liquid. And being able to time lock something with self-custody that may or may not have more or less value in the future, that is a new invention. That's new tech. It's not a lie. It's not a fraud. The computer code checks out. It's been triple audited. People have done really well from it. People have lost money from it. It's been everything you would expect a market to be. However, there is no fraud in the underlying tech. The underlying tech is solid. Being able to time lock and pay your future self, that's innovative. It's crypto itself being self-sovereign, and even though it's volatile, still being based like any other asset is, being based on people's shared belief. That tells us we're in a market. It doesn't tell us we're in a Ponzi. A lot of people, they'll throw around the word Ponzi just because something goes up or down a lot. Now, I'll remind you that Amazon stock went down 97%. And then it became one of the top 3 most valuable companies in the world. And then it did half of online commerce. So just because something is super volatile, right? HEX is down 99% from the top. From the bottom, it's still up 10x or 100x. From the day one price, it's down, maybe 50%, maybe 70%, something like that. So we're in the same ballpark as Amazon. Now, is it super likely that HEX will return to new all-time highs? That's the question of the hour, because not a lot of cryptos have done that. There have been like 3 cryptos that have ever done that. Maybe HEX will be one. I will stay tuned to see. So if there's no lie about the tech, then a Ponzi HEX is not. Is HEX a scam? Well, the definition for a scam, again, is going to involve like fraud or deception or something that's not true. I would say HEX has more transparency than almost any other asset on earth. You can't tell when people are going to sell their cars in the future, or their houses in the future, or their stocks. But you can see a chart of future market supply for HEX. Whether it's pretty or not, you can see it. So that's unique and important. And by the way, Time Pays Me also gives you this advantage to be able to save yourself from yourself. It doesn't include any yield, but it's got a lot of really cool aspects to it that I'm going to be showing off in the coming days and weeks. So the price is down. You're supposed to buy when there's blood in the streets. A lot of people don't have a lot of dry powder left. So some of us are going to be selling everything that's not nailed down, and to have money to live off of, to have money to invest. Other people are going to work gig jobs. They're going to ask for a raise at work. They're going to live humbly. I remember in the bear market of 2019, I developed all these really healthy, low-cost habits of like preparing all my food myself and not spending money on things I didn't need, and just really conserving and delaying gratification. I saw Ben Cage did a 7-minute video today where he said he is going to rent out his house because he likes these prices and ran out of dry powder. We don't know how low the price is going to go, but we know that if these cryptos have a future, dollar cost averaging is the way. So that's what I'm planning on doing. And I can tell you it hurts. Definitely hurts right now. That's okay. Some people, they're going to tune out of crypto for a little while. Some people are going to stay tuned in. But I mean, I feel bad for myself and anybody else who's having to tune into this bloodbath. But, some people have a different attitude. Some people are happy to buy at lower prices. They're not done accumulating. They understand the opportunity in front of them. But I think it really depends on like how much dry powder you have, like how much you may have speculated around with shit coins that pumped, and then maybe they did well, maybe they didn't, right? So everybody's got a different attitude. We can see the number one sacrifice whale was like selling and then buying again. So there's whale games happening, and I can't predict the future for you, but all I can do is keep showing up every week for 143 weeks. Nice. Let's check in with the chat. Hope everybody's well. It says Aaron, Franklin, St. Hex, what's Gucci? Thanks for your great content, it says BA. Hey, my pleasure. Stay positive, gang. We're the reason why we stay afloat. Yeah, it's up to us to decide whether we're going to buy or sell at these prices. Mark G. All we know is people are dumping. That's right. You can be served on Twitter now. Well, I know that because there was a Hexakin who created the first case where CZ of Binance got served. But hey, you keep thinking whatever you want, all right? I'm pretty sure Richard clarified today that he wasn't talking about any cases other than the two he listed, which were Coinbase and Ripple. So, you know, you can be silly all you want. All the other influencers can be silly, but like, you got to read his tweets. You got to understand the context. What was the big news yesterday? It was the tornado case. It's the tornado cash case. That was the big news. That's what was talking about privacy. Richard doesn't have anything to do with privacy. So, yeah, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Everybody else was wrong. Whatever. What a great stream. Yeah. 43OG and I streamed last night. You should check it out. Rick's going to check it out. Stefan Hex, thanks, Maddie, for speaking. Dark times with all the FUD, but we're in this for many more years. That's right. People are just dumping. New peeps are not buying. It's that simple. Yep, that's what a bear market looks like. That's how it's defined. Amazon ventured out beyond selling books. That's right. And with crypto, with Pulse Chain, you will soon be able to pay yourself for behavior change. That's something that's beyond crypto, but incorporates real crypto. There are also opportunities to like set up an inheritance that's trustless-ish. It's not trust-free, but it's trustless. It's way better than using a Gnosis safe. It's way better than using a lawyer with only one seed phrase. Like, I'm telling you, there's more than just shitcoin casinos being built. And I should know because I'm the one building it with my team, with my amazing team. Now you have Pulse Chain. So now you have choices and people are selling shitcoins. What's up, Melv Tony? Yeah, shitcoins come out of the woodwork, don't they? Trying to get more dry powder and buy. So we have HEX, according to Melv Tony, at a third of a penny. Is that right? That can't be right. There's got to be another zero in there. HEX at half a cent. Oh, maybe that is true. I guess they're coming back more towards parity now, aren't they? Ooh, a lot of people are gonna owe Johnny Cass an apology. That's for sure. Let me see here. Yeah, PHEX at half a penny. EHEX at a third of a penny. Wow. The ratio is 1 to 1.73. Yikes. A lot of people probably played that wrong. See, I was looking at that and I was like, that can't be right because the ratio of HEX has changed recently. Hey, that's a whole topic. Somebody could do a whole show just about that. I bet they will. Keep up the DCA, friends. So Pulse chain coin 40352. Brutal. And Pulse X is 4 zeros and a 1096. Wow. Pretty bad. So just 3 days ago, you know, that was up 50% higher on Pulse X. So, but there's low liquidity, you know, if you want it to pump, well, you're going to need the low liquidity there. And you might as well pray that there is low liquidity whenever people are selling, because then they can't extract as much value and people get a better deal when they're buying. So two sides of the same coin. You do not have to press the bell button. For me, I stream every week at the same time, Tuesday and Thursday night at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, and 5:30 on the West Coast. So there you go. No bell button needed. You don't need notifications blowing up your phone unless you want to. That's fine. Richard, hey, Maddie, thanks for everything you do. How long do you think the depression will last for? I mean, it depends if you're thinking of the crypto depression or the economic depression. I think prices continue to go higher because of money printing, the inflation bug in the US dollar. And yeah, I mean, I think that I think it's an uncertain road ahead. I'm going to be tuning in just like you will and trying to see. I think if people remain productive, that is really helpful for the economy to not collapse. I think that even with more money printing, technology continues to amaze the world. And so there's hope. And then the idea that people could get onto a fixed supply currency, people could stop having their wealth being stolen by central banks, that, I mean, would create enormous wealth for the average person, I would think. I don't think people understand Ethereum needs an extra wheel. Is Pulse it? I'd say yes, says Ivan. We've been through this before. Time to sell stuff we don't need. Side hustle, says Dan Best. Live like nobody else. You can live like, live like nobody else so you can live like nobody else. There you go. Heads up. Take care. It works out or not. This is why you never invest more than you're willing to lose. Yep. Still hurts though. Still hurts. We're down bad. There's no denying it. And it's good to know. I mean, look, I stream every week, 143 weeks. You can see what my mood is. You can see when I'm capitulating and like talking about selling the DeLorean, and you know, it's real. That's how you know it's real. And yeah, it's you know, I'm not going to hold this whole market up by myself unless you want to drop PLSX down to 10 zeros and a 1. But hey, I'll take care of it from there, you know. Like or leave. That's right. Hit the like button. I mean, I'm accumulating HEX on Pulse Chain and staking it. Good for you. Yeah, I was talking to the Maximus DAO guys. I really want to see if the community would be interested in doing a 5555 perpetual tokenized HEX stake that would give the advantage of getting the bigger pays better possibly a 10% bonus. It would also create a more liquid environment for people to time lock T shares for 55 years or less. But that's what Time Pays Me allows people to do. If you're time locking Deci, it's kind of cool. I've got a couple of Deci stakes for 30 years, but you're missing out on a lot of yield if you're getting the perpetual that cycles over every 10 years versus holding out for all 15.2 years before renewing. So I don't know what they're going to say. I've asked them. I will keep asking them. I think it would be a really cool thing. With Pool Party, you could do it yourself, but it wouldn't be liquid. So it would not be the same thing, basically. There are some liquidity issues with Deci, but the more we can create a market around these tokenized HEX stakes, I think the better. I've come to the conclusion that also, like, it's helpful to keep doing them. It takes more HEX off the market. There's like this original sin theory that like ICOSA, or not ICOSA, that tokenized HEX stakes and HEX stakes that are made from HEX that are created into NFTs on Hedron, HEX HSIs, that those, because they're committing the original sin of buying HEX or locking it up once upon a time, that is okay. Originally, I had worried that because you can have infinite volume on a tokenized HEX stake, that takes away buying pressure from the original asset, which it does. And hello, there's been no new all-time high in HEX since these derivatives markets took off, just like the derivative markets that launched in 2017. That was the top on the day, was when the CME futures contracts launched for Bitcoin. That was the top on the day. In 2021, the top on the day was when Coinbase launched their $100 billion stock market product, taking away all the buying pressure from crypto. So yeah, like, derivatives suck, but they could suck worse if you didn't have the original sin of buying. And at the end of the day, it's DeFi and people can do it. And so there's not a huge market for it, but if there was, that would give people more optionality, which people like. I never liked that word, but that's what people like. And the things you can do with Time Pays Me, like dripping yourself every week yield from a HEX stake in the form of a tokenized HEX stake, is beyond cool. It's next level stuff. It's more rewarding. Time Pays Me, bro. I'm locking up PLS till 2030. That's what's up. Of course, I time locked 1% of my HEX and 1% of my, 1% of my Pulse and 1% of my Pulse X for 55 years. It's only 1%. And then I time locked half of my Pulse for a year, and it drips back to me on all those. And then, yeah, I mean, like, the vast majority, like 95+% of my HEX has been time locked. And that's a yearly ladder, which is not as rewarding as a weekly Time Pays Me drip. We might have these prices for a few months, plenty of time to DCA. Yeah, that's my attitude too. I need to stop FOMOing low prices. Greed can get you when there's blood in the streets, because there can always be more blood. But the whole point of DCAing is to take your time. Come on, Maddie, it's not the derivative's fault. No one is buying HSIs who hasn't already bought HEX. Yeah, they have discounts, which is bad because it takes away buying pressure from people having to go buy on the primary market. You see that with paper Bitcoin. You see that with paper Ethereum. The Grayscale Bitcoin product, that's what helped mark the bottom. was seeing that discount in wrapped BTC. So not wrapped BTC, in grayscale BTC, non-redeemable, right? It went down to what, 40% discount, something like that. I was buying it. I was tweeting on the day. I said, Richard Hart was right. I said the rest of the legacy market front ran Richard's call because grayscale Bitcoin went down to 11K in pre. It went to 11.1K. And I tweeted about it on the day. Richard was right. And regular Bitcoin was at 15K at that point, but that's where you get the 40% discount coming in. So what's up? Her HEX to the moon. Good to see you there. It also takes sell pressure away. No, because there's infinite volume. So I don't want to get into that same argument. Look, the point of the story was, I think that the community, including myself, should do a 5555 perpetual, because that's totally different than a maxi tokenized hex stake. And the Maximus DAO guys, I hope they'll be excited to do that. We'll see. But as always, I'm trying to tell you guys what the latest and greatest ideas are, what I'm paying attention to here in the marketplace. Let me see. Anything else? Anything else we need to cover? Let me go back to my tweets here. Bitcoiners like beating up on Hexicans online. They have no engagement. Hexicans have so much engagement on Twitter. You could have, what does this guy have? This guy has 32,000 followers. He had only 11 people. Actually, he had 20 people tuned in for his Twitter Spaces when it had been live for like 10 minutes. That's sad. And he was trying to beat up on Hexicans. What a joke. What an absolute joke. I'm not even going to give this guy a spotlight. Okay, yeah. Lots of people misattributing what Richard was saying to SEC Hex FUD. That's okay. We all get it wrong sometimes. Yeah, more people misattributing it. Tornado Cash, that was the real story. I'm gonna drop my link for this episode. DeFi Down Under. The sound was playing. Let's see. What do I think about PDI? It pisses me off that I missed the pump. There's a bunch of like harebrained theories about it. I don't really care. Like, I'm happy for you if you did really well from it. I'm sad for you if you lost money on it. It doesn't make sense to me, but hey, there's like lots of detectives out there who are trying to build a strong case. I think that it's a meme token. I think that meme tokens can go higher than $1. I think that they can also go way lower than you bought them at. Professional traders, DCA, as a true bottom has turned, and DCA on the way up. No reason to try to keep catching falling knives. I don't know. Like, that's not really the definition of DCA. And the math doesn't really agree with that. I'm going to take a hard stance against that. Maybe that's what they tell you. Maybe that's what it looks like. But when you don't know where the bottom is, then you're just playing with numbers. And you could go back and look at the HEX chart and tell me when the God whale bought and then a bunch of people dumped and then people were buying again, like back in the super early days when the price was so low, nobody even looked at how many zeros there were. Like, you got left behind. If you were buying HEX at 1 Satoshi and selling it for 2 Satoshis, like Johnny Chaos was, with like a small percent of his bag, with millions and millions and millions of HEX, you got left behind if you were not doing real DCA, which is dollar cost averaging over time. It's not, I mean, you can get into some exotic variations where you're like pretending what DCA is, but it's over time. It's not in like, sure, dollar cost crypto, we'll talk about like an alternative that's different than DCA, which is like dynamic DCA, which is based on where the price is going, like where the price has been, not where the price, you don't know where the price is going. Ask any Wall Street trader. Okay, well, look, the stock market's rigged and they can tell you whatever they want. I'm talking about the definition of dollar cost averaging, which is over time. You put in a fixed amount on a fixed schedule. That's what dollar cost averaging is. It's not trying to, it's literally the opposite of what you're talking about, which is trying to time the market. Dollar cost averaging is not timing the market. It's not trying to wait until the bull market starts. It's not considering the news of the day. It's putting in a fixed amount on a fixed schedule, which is a fixed interval. I think you are great at networking, as many HEX peeps are. Perhaps work on a better weekly crypto news thing that is better than altcoins and so on. Get ahead of the curve now. Okay, well, I've got some plans. I've got some plans for you guys. Do I really want to share this with you now? I was hoping for kind of a bigger reveal, but hey, look, I'm busy and this is the only time I stream solo once a week. So I got accepted to go to like a private conference with some like really famous YouTube dudes called the ALLin Summit. I think there's only like 300 people who got chosen from the applications, but your boy right here got chosen. And I didn't know when I applied, I didn't know when I paid like to go there and stuff. This is happening in like 20 days, but I'm going to be in the same room with Brian Armstrong and Mr. Beast. Okay. Those two are some of the main speakers at this very small conference. And then there's also going to be the 4 hosts of the ALLin podcast, which is the #1 podcast in finance right now. Jason Calacanis, Chamath Palihapitiya, David Sachs, and David Friedberg. And I've been watching their show because they've been streaming the same number of weeks that I have. They have a weekly show. And they didn't steal the name from me. I didn't steal the name from them. It's just like how it went. So like, yeah, I'm going to be putting a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of creativity into networking at that event because there's going to be a shitload of billionaires there. And the #1 content creator on earth, Mr. Beast, is going to be there. And you better bet I'm not going to be too shy to walk up to the man if I can and let him know about how cool it is to time lock crypto, HEX, Pulse Chain, and the like. So as you can tell, I'm pretty excited about this. I thought I would break the news here. I just found out about who the speakers were earlier today. So yeah, you know, like you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. I have met other famous people and onboarded them, although I haven't like called them out yet. It's this is a hobby of mine that I do. I like to put myself into social situations where I think I have a good chance of succeeding, and have the right amount of tricks up my sleeve to make the onboarding process happen. And so, yeah, like whenever you meet somebody famous, you have to be prepared. You have to know what you're going to say. You might only have 5 or 10 seconds to get their attention. It helps if you have a plan that's been put in place like a long time ahead of time. And my style is to hand somebody a physical coin that has a private key on it that allows them to be instantly onboarded into HEX, into Pulse Chain, and then to make that the conversation piece to try to catch their interest and catch their imagination. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if I can get close enough, if I can make it happen. Some of these events, you never get access to the talent, and some of them you can work your way in and make an introduction and do the networking thing. So whether I'm only surrounded by millionaires there, which I don't even know if I'm in that category anymore, but I will not be the richest person in the room, but I will be definitely shilling the bags. So wish me luck on that. I'll keep you guys updated. It's on it's in, maybe it's less than 20 days. It's in a couple weeks on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'll have to figure out a plan for Game Theory Gang so I can start the show and then leave or something. What do you think about Nomics closing? Never got a good answer. Hexicans were too mean to Clay, so we'll probably never know. I'm buying every week $100 of HEX, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. That's the way to do it. Fair assessment, you've been more open-minded lately. Thank you. Excited about timepays.me. People bored. I'm just excited for cheap prices, says X James. Her HEX to the moon. Congrats, Maddie. Yeah, Crypto Butler. Sick news. Thanks. Excellent news. This is good. Crazy awesome. Fabulous news. Well done. Pick me. I will ride with you, NYC. It's actually in LA area. I wish I could bring people, because I would bring somebody else who would help me show, but don't worry, I got it. I didn't think they were gonna pick me. I really didn't, but I linked my Twitter, and I thought about it carefully, how I would. I don't even think there was anything to write. They just picked me because I have a lot of Twitter followers. So follow on Twitter anybody you can, so more people can get opportunities like this. How to buy if you live in USA? Are you talking about HEX or Pulse Chain? You can buy Pulse. So you go to Coinbase, you buy Ethereum, then you go to gopulse.com, you click buy, and then you can swap your ETH for Pulse. If you want to buy HEX, you can go to ethhex.com, and same thing. You take your Coinbase. Ethereum, you send it to a MetaMask wallet. You have to have self-custody of it, because you can't send HEX or Pulse to a Coinbase address. It doesn't work. If it's Coinbase wallet on the DeFi section there, and you wrote down your 12 words, then that counts, that it will work. Are you confident that HEX on ETH will still do well? I think that the market's bumpy. I don't know where the bottom is. I don't know where the top is. I think that it's a little bit easier when you see it. I still haven't seen maximum pain, but I'm feeling a lot of pain, so we might be close. It's hard to say. The future is hard to predict. That's why I advocate for dollar cost averaging. I think it does have a future on both chains. I am a little bit more favorable to Pulse HEX, but the ETH side, I still like it. I still hold it. I still buy it. But the thing that I really like the most is Pulse, because I already have HEX. I already aped in, put my life savings into it, time locked it. So the one thing that I don't have in the future is Pulse. And because I was so time locked, I didn't even get to sacrifice that much for Pulse and Pulse X. I got kind of screwed there. So what's right for me might be not the most right thing for you, because for me, it's like if HEX is a store of value, I'm set. If Pulse becomes valuable, I'm not set to where I want to be. So that's why for me, accumulating the two new things makes sense. Work on talking points or pitch. Yep. What about Coast? I hope they keep doing a good job. Thanks, Maddie. Hey, my pleasure. ETH fees should go down in the future, but I'm a Pulse head. There you go. Awesome. Well, we're past an hour. I hope that you found this helpful. Please go in the description below. I have some links to a timepays.me tutorial. Hey, if you're bored or sad, you might as well give that one a try. Figure out how to use it. You can use it on testnet. You can look at the audit. You can use it on mainnet, on Ethereum, or on Pulse Chain. Give it a try. See what it's all about. You can also find a link to the Trezor referral link that I have. It costs you the same amount of money, but it helps out the channel. And so I really appreciate it. There's been an excessive number of people who have bought a Trezor from my link. Excessive, like 200 or 300 people have bought a Trezor. So thank you for that. I'm actually, you guys, I'm looking for every opportunity I have to like onboard people, to like make connections. I even want to talk to Trezor about like, yo, hook it up. Like build time pays me into that bitch. You see me out here slinging these Trezors, like get with it, guys. So that's cool. I'm like emailing back and forth with them. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So get a Trezor. I'm probably going to make a link for like other products that I use. I also have so I have a Telegram group called HEX YouTube, and I dropped referral links for all of the equipment that I use for streaming. I recognize that not everybody wants to like start off with the high-end equipment. But at least you can see what I'm using. I mean, there's this light that I'm using when I travel is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. Maybe not the best thing, but it's in terms of streaming, lighting makes all the difference. It's like a $20, $40 light or something, but it's a game changer. So anyway, yeah, that's another way you can support the channel. Again, it's like the same price for you, but there's a kickback of like 3%. So basically Amazon gets 3% less on the sale, and it goes to support the channel. So you can look at my full inventory of equipment there on t.me/hex YouTube. I've never talked about that before. I feel better from this video with fellow Pulsicans. That's what's up. Like I said earlier, 50 weeks to rid the weak hands. That's right on the BTC halving. That'd be cool. Hit the likes. Hit up Logan Paul. Not my style. But hey, if I run into him, then it will be. I will buy one soon. Just looking for a crypto laptop solely for that purpose. I mean, personally, getting a crypto laptop, I mean, you probably want to go by what Papa B says and like the B9.xyz recommendations. For me, I have a lot of different devices, so I spread out my risk. But the Trezor is the thing that actually creates the barrier where you're going to be creating your private key. So like, even if you used a Trezor with a compromised laptop, it would be, you don't always know when your laptop is compromised, but the Trezor is built to protect it anyway. As long as you're not clicking the button on things you don't understand, which most of us don't write code and don't understand it. And so that's why time pays me is so important, because you can undo a hack by setting up your second seed phrase. That's the real way to do it, folks. Like, having a hardware wallet is the gold standard, but if you don't have more than $1,000 in crypto, you might just want to set up a second seed phrase that you've generated in a safe way. But you don't have to have a hardware wallet if you only put $20 into crypto. And so that's something to remember. But don't tell Papa B I said that. We all have a bright future. Be patient and sit on your hands. Do you have a link for buying ledgers too? I wanted to keep it simple. So all I have is Trezor, because that's what I use, even though I've tried all the different kinds. Take care. Hang tight. Zoom out on any chart. That's right. So until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HEX Therapy Live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being could do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie ALLin's got that covered. Does emotional, feel good, mind management, emotion stuff like as his gig, because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like, he helps heal people.